Traditional meets pop culture. That's what awaits us in the exhibit of the Philippine School of Interior Design, or PSID, this October called PHusion. Pardon me. And to tease us a bit more about what we can expect from the carefully curated month-long exhibit, joining us live, our PSID Batch President, Beatriz San Luis-Gutierrez. Bea, good morning. We've got the Batch Treasurer, Sheina Rose Gina, and solo exhibitor and visual artist, Andrea Severino. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
It's malapit now. You can get some sleep pretty soon. I know you guys have been working so hard on this final exhibit, the thesis, I believe, of all your hard work, the zenith of all your hard work. Listen, let's start off with what inspired the PHusion exhibit. I mean, obviously every year you need to come up with something, and this year I'm sure you racked your brains and came up with something quite special, quite unusual.
Yeah, actually this was a brainchild of our professor and advisor, Sir Nicky Hardinil. He actually thought of something like you have to get something from other countries.
Right.
And this is not your common country. Like usually kasi you see Filipino and then Chinese,
Yes.
Filipino, Spanish. Our prof wanted us to weave Filipino interior design into something so much bigger, something different.
Yeah.
Different rather than lang usual natin nakikita here in the Philippines. So he came up with the idea on how are we gonna do it? How are we gonna be researching everything else?
Right.
So what we did was we had to research for cultural appropriation,
Yes.
and then we had to do cultural references, historical influences, and we had to translate it into a 15 to 20 square meter booth.
Okay, so it's a mix of I mean, we did say in the intro pop culture, but it's also a lot of historical reference, a lot of cultural references, and a lot of sort of global flavors coming in and mixing in into a total of how many booths do we have here? How many students come together for this graduating student show, and how many booths have we actually got?
We actually have 12 as of the moment in Greenfield Tower. But then we're a group of 44 students, and then we had to take on like a 15 to 20 square meter booth each.
Okay, how do you address the idea of the trap of cultural appropriation and be sensitive to that fact that you do have to salute in the right direction, and also bring in something that is distinctly Filipino, something that's quite difficult for me to put my finger on. How would you describe Filipino interior design? Is it simply taking well-worn tropes that we're all quite familiar with? How do we bring something fresh into the idea of a fusion?
So it's really hard. It's really a challenge for us to do cross-cultural design. It's really not just a typical or a regular design process that anyone could take. It really requires research. So we really have to be very careful and cautious on choosing items that have cultural significance, because as what you've said, we do not want to misappropriate them. And really have to give respect also to the complexity, diversity of cultures, traditions, and customs.
Right.
Say this item or this element is aesthetically pleasing or perfectly matched your design. It doesn't mean that you have the right to use it.
Sure.
And ignoring the cultural meaning of it. So we have to be responsible and accountable, because design is not just all about aesthetics, but it is also a discipline that we would love to share to public, and sharing this culture in the most appropriate way is the best that we can do.
Sure. A lot of the groups, or a lot of the students, have actually formed groups and come together, split the work, which takes a load off. Maui, you've decided to take this on all by yourself. What's wrong with you? Listen, it also makes your booth and your efforts all the more special, I think. Your booth is called Relajarse. Do I have that right?
Yes.
Relaxation. Nicaraguan, a lot of Latin influence, but you've sort of melded that quite well with traditional Filipino elements. Let's talk about your booth and how you came to, how those elements all came together.
Well, it was actually a very difficult task for me to actually research something about Nicaragua, because it's not really that much of a well-known country compared to other countries. So it really challenged me to find something that was actually distinctly Nicaraguan,
Right.
and how I could merge that with the Filipino aspect very seamlessly.
Right.
But at the same time, still make it seem as if it was like very, very like distinct. Like you can really see the Nicaraguan aspect and the Filipino aspect separately.
Separately, but also
Yes.
quite cohesive
Yes.
as a whole. But I think really the real challenge here, as you mentioned, is taking elements that go beyond just their aesthetic value and sort of coming up with a statement that really does show all of these elements distinctly, but at the same time bring them all together. It's going to be quite the exhibit. It's going to be something for people to come and appreciate. Who wants to do the invitation? Go ahead.
So, hi everyone. We would love to invite you and come and visit us in Greenfield Tower. It's on the 5th floor in Mandaluyong. And we're open 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. until October 31. And yeah.
All right. Well, yeah.
Admission is also free,
Yeah.
so you don't have to pay for anything. You just have to vote.
All you have to do is show up and enjoy the
Yes.
beautiful designs. Thank you so much, Bea, Sheina, and Maui. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much.
Best of luck.
Thank you so much.